tell my students now, like, there is no acting without body mechanics. Like, until you nail that body mechanics, you're not gonna do the fancy acting stuff. But I learned so much through online schools that I knew I wanted to give back eventually. And they said, "Oh, your reel was uploaded 2 years ago. Like, where's your latest work?" And I'm like, "Damn, I need to upgrade my reel."
I guess to kick things off, how did you get interested in animation in the first place? What was the catalyst for you?
As a kid, I grew up watching the 2D because, I'm old school. So back in the 2D days, watching like Disney Robin Hood, like Dumbo, Lion King. And the big factor for me was I went to Orlando, Florida as a vacation because I'm British. So we went to Florida. Like, actually went 6 times before I was 18 years old. So like 3 weeks each time. So it was like a big part of my childhood. And we went to all the Disney parks, SeaWorld and everything. So I think they had obviously a massive Disney influence there as a kid. So and obviously I'd go home and obviously play video games and then but obviously watch a lot of Disney movies and so I think I kind of had like an animator grip from a very early age. It's like, okay, I want to do that. And obviously 3D was, we're transitioning the 3D animation back then with Toy Story and Bugs Life and early Shrek. So I think that's, it was just a really different time as everyone was pushing the industry a lot back then. So I was like, it'd be good to dive in.
You understood immediately, like, because for me, I was watching all those animated movies and I didn't know how it was being made, that somebody was like drawing that stuff back then. So like, was it because you went to Disney that you knew early on because you maybe saw some glimpses of that, or was it something else?
Yeah, I remember I can't remember the ride, but yeah, they had all the storyboards of like the original. I can't remember what it was now, but yeah, I wasn't the best drawer, I think, but I think because of the 3D age was kicking in, I was like, I knew I'd use a computer back then, so it's like, but even though I had the influence of the 2D animation, I did try to draw a lot, but I think when seeing like Toy Story and stuff like that, and then realizing it was made in a computer, I think that was more of a push for me.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay, so with Toy Story, you realized, oh, I don't have to do this drawing stuff. People did this on the computer, and this is pretty rad. Okay.
Yeah, even now, I still struggle to draw. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the case with so many animators today. If they had to do the old school 2D animation, they'd be out of a gig. They'd be like, I don't know how to do any of this. Par for the course. Cool. So that's I mean, that's a lot of Disney World trips. That's pretty awesome. I guess it makes sense. A lot of people see Toy Story and that was their window into the industry, that it was going to be a job potentially thing. But like, what did you decide to do from that point on when it started to hit you that, oh, this is a job and I could do this on the computer? What was the next step for you? Was it just you didn't know what you wanted to do, you saw that and you're like, I'm going to college for this?
Yeah, I didn't do it straight after college, straight after school, sorry. I did some other stuff like part-time work on the side because I was still, I guess I had like doubts, second thoughts. I even said to myself once straight after school, like, am I actually good enough to do this? Like, do I actually have it in me to do this? So I actually put it off for like 2 years going to college after school. Back in England, because we have college then university there. So I just did odds and ends work straight after school, just full-time, part-time jobs. And then this was back during the recession, the 2008-9 recession. So I actually got I had a full-time job and I got laid off from the hits of that. And I was like, well, it's now or never. I've always wanted to do it as a kid, so I'm going to go all in and try and get a job in animation. So I did a 2-year college course media production it was. So it was a bit of everything. I could dab my toes into rigging. It's a generic college, so it's very small scale stuff. And then I went to Bournemouth University to do my actual. It was a modeling and animation course, so it still had the modeling side. It wasn't actually animation focused. I still had to, um, learn animation in my spare time. They were actually using 3ds Max as well back then, so I was like, so I had to even teach myself my. Yeah, and also after university, I didn't get a job because, like I said, my course wasn't exactly specialized. So once again, I took a little bit of time off, did some odds and end jobs, and then I discovered online courses. And yeah, from there is where I really pushed my skills because it was finally specialized. Finally, I can do what I want to do. I want to animate. I don't want to model. I don't want to texture. I want to animate. So then, yeah, and after the online schools, I got a job straight away. So, yes. So yeah, it was just I had to kick myself up, but I guess from after doing odds and ends jobs, and I guess the recession kind of helped, but I shouldn't really say that because it was a bad time of the world. But yeah, I got laid off, so I was like, wow, why not? Let's go.
Go for this. Might as well go to school while there's no work out there.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah. And I was a young boy back then, so I was like, yeah, what have I got to lose? Let's go for it.
So you're just to unpack a bit of that, because that would, I think that was a good chunk of your whole development. You said you were doubting going to school for that sort of thing. What were you doubting yet? Because you hadn't really made animations so far, right?
Yeah, I don't know, maybe I've been a bit of a nervous kid. I even said to myself, am I even good enough to do this? This seems like a very specialized job.
Like, you gotta be born super talented or something? Is
yeah.
That what was...
Yeah, I got middle grades in school. I wasn't like the top end student. I was just an average kid, I guess. I was like, damn, this seems like a specialized job. It was purely just self-doubt on my end. There was no outside source telling me I'm not good enough. It was more just me telling myself. So definitely not a good thing to have. So, but yeah, and eventually I bit the bullet and went for it, and no regrets.
And in the UK, I mean, I know it's vastly different in the US in terms of investment and everything. Was it easy just to hop into college with low funds, or how did that work? College and uni?
College is free in England, so we can go there. I just had to go on the bus every day. I had a part-time job, so paid the bus bills. That's for 2 years, and I eventually learned how to drive, so I drove to there after. And uni, it's all, well, I'm in debt now because you have student loans, but yeah, I actually paid the cheaper version. So I think I left in 2014, and then the year after is when they raised the prices. They tripled the prices of university.
Wow.
So I actually did pay the cheaper version, and they pay for the course, and then they give you money to live off, you pay rent, so it's 2 loans in England, and they just condense it into one bill. So yeah, it wasn't too bad. My dad helped me out a lot, so he let me stay with him and whilst there. Yeah. And then uni helped me, financially, just if I needed some extra stuff, he would have me on the side. So he is very supportive. So it was very good.
Yeah, super supportive. On my end, I got none of that. Tuition for my uni was $100K.
Oh.
Yeah, for the bachelor's. Yeah, and then I got that generic education experience as well, where it's modeling, rigging, scripting, animating, lighting, and then you're like, I suck at all of these, so I can't get work. Yeah. So you kind of. You go through that with more support, and help from family. That's huge, I think. But you still come out with skills that aren't good enough, and then you take online courses. And what did you discover that you really needed to improve to become hireable at that time?
I can go back on that. Yeah, so I finished uni, 2014, and I had nothing. It was it was a mishmash of everything, and there was like barely any animation. So it was, um, it was. I knew like this is tough. I'm in a tricky situation. I'm in all this debt, and I know I'm not going to get a job. So, and I was using 3ds Max. So the final year, I did use Maya. So I actually self taught myself Maya at uni. But it is basic. Of course, we all have those student reels which look like. So yeah.
What do you mean, Mike? You have a student reel? It looks bad.
So yeah. So yeah. From then. I didn't want to waste my skills in that I've just spent the last essentially 5 years like learning, college and university. So my friend actually got a job in architecture, which was a big part of our course. So architectural visualization, they call it. So it's like modeling buildings or interiors for future offices. So he said, like, I've just got this job, when you come on in. So I did a few online courses, like tutorials, and just built these interiors very quickly in 3ds Max, put a V-Ray light, So I actually did that, and then I actually got a job with him in Cardiff for about 8 months. And it was okay. It was a job. I felt like I didn't waste all my training, but then again, I had like an epiphany. 3 to 5 months into this job, I was like, what am I doing? This is not what I wanted to do in life. It's not, it's not what I had as a kid. It's not why I went to uni in the first place. So, yeah, I ended up just, whilst I was at work, I was just researching online schools whilst I was doing this architectural job. And I was like, I came across the online school I took was Animate. So, and I even wrote to one of the ex-students there. It's like, do you recommend this school? Is it good? Like, because he became an animator at Illumination, I believe. So I was like, he must work. And I saw his student reel from Animate look really good. And he actually wrote back to me on LinkedIn and he said, yeah, it's a really good course. I highly recommend it. So you should give it a go. So yeah, I eventually handed in my notice at the architectural firm because I knew I wanted to go 110% into this, and I wasn't really having a good time at the job. It just wasn't my kind of cup of tea. So yeah, my dad said, you're more than welcome to come back, which was a really big help. So he also really helped me out a lot. So I moved back with my dad.
Move back home.
Yeah. And then I took I did animate for a year and a half. And then got a job straight from there. So that's when I knew I needed to like push my skills, because I was never going to get a job without doing some sort of course, someone to guide me. Luckily I knew like basics of Maya, but then I didn't know animation, so that's what really pushed me to improve my skills. And being in England, I was like, the course is like 3 a.m, so I had to get up, be as fresh. So I had to be focused any time of the day.
Yeah, it's hard to be focused at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
But so you're at home. You're just animating during this time when you move back home, right?
Yeah, I had a part-time job just to pay the bills for the
Okay.
course. Just 2.5 days a week, and then the rest of it was just animating and having my own time to myself. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just purely focusing on that.
Did you try teaching yourself some animation, like tutorials and stuff like that, and you realized something in the middle of that, or?
Yeah. So when I was learning Maya, even to apply, I think to some of these schools, they want you to send them a reel, and they will judge like which course to put you in. So yeah, I did a few. I think it's the 11 Second Club, the old school. Yeah, I did a few of them. I grabbed some. It's the one rule you should never do, but I grabbed some Pixar dialogue, and I did my own dialogue over the top. It's like, where's my super suit? I think it was that one.
A few of those cardinal sins we all got to do, I guess.
Exactly. I would never recommend that to people now, but yeah. So yeah, I tried animation for sure by myself, and of course, it's nothing. But then yeah, they got me obviously into the course, and then I improved.
Were you like looking at it and you knew that the quality wasn't there and you couldn't figure out how to get further, or was
Hmm.
someone pointing it out to you, or
Yeah, that's a good question. I think yeah, some of my 11-second clubs, some of
Yeah.
the comments are pretty brutal. It's like, what is this? What is he doing? Where's
Oh.
what? Yeah, some people don't hold back on those comments. So it's like, okay, right, I got to improve. And of course, you look at it, yeah, and then you watch like a Pixar movie, and then you realize, yeah, something's not quite right here. So yes, I was probably super young, so I guess I couldn't understand what was wrong with it back then. I think that's probably more of a student, thing.
Mhm.
They love it. That I loved what I was doing, of course, but then you can't quite pinpoint what needs improving. So that's where like these one-on-ones always go really well, I think. So yeah, and then I learned a lot of tips and tricks from animating. Yeah, just a constant feedback, I believe. Because I never had any feedback with these personal shots. So when you got feedback from people who worked at like DreamWorks, it's pretty good. It improves a lot.
Yeah, slight difference from nobody helping to then like a
Yeah.
professional just guiding you the whole way,
Mm,
actually getting
yeah.
some critiques.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
sometimes sometimes you need the harsh truth, the brutal critiques to really, because I had even few of them while I was doing animate, so and they, it makes you think, you take a step back, and then you're like, okay, then I'll go back into it.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's good though. I think it's a tough process learning, but yeah, it's needed. You need the feedback, no matter
Yeah.
how brutal it is. Yeah,
Yeah, we all got to go through the pain to get anything, right?
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, fair. So as you're going through and actually getting feedback now, getting some support to learn these things that you're passionate about finally, are you like running into specific roadblocks there? Do you feel like you're fully qualified when you're done? Like, how did it
Mm.
all turn out?
Yeah, no, I didn't. I knew I could see the improvement myself, which was cool. I really liked seeing that. But yeah, I was very much lacking body mechanics. Um, I had so yeah, one of my critiques was I was in workshop 5. I think it was Jacob Gardner as my tutor, and I was doing full body acting. And I was trying to do all the acting stuff, but the body mechanics was just awful. Like it was really far behind. And even like had a one-on-one chat with me after, said I really think you should go back to workshop 3, which is advanced body mechanics, to improve on your mechanics before you even delve into the acting side. So I was enjoying the process for sure, but I think that was a big goal. That was a big nudge forward, where they're like, so I tell my students now, like, there is no acting without body mechanics. Like, until you nail that body mechanics, you're not gonna do the fancy acting stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I took a small break and then redid um, the body mechanics. I think that's where I really went all in. Learned heavily about reference. I learned more about how to break it down, what kind of like poses I need to do to try and get a good body pose, should we say? So yeah, I think that's when I redid it after hearing that advice or like that feedback. It makes you want to do better, and yeah, and I did see the improvement just from one class extra. Because after that advanced body mechanics class, I actually got my first job. So yeah, I even had an offer to work in feature straight after that class with my tutor, who was actually teaching me at the time.
Oh,
So
okay.
it didn't go because it was in New Zealand and I didn't get a permit because I was freshy out of school.
Mhm.
But having that opportunity to work in feature straight after school was pretty eye opening. So it's like, okay, I do have some potential at least. So that was cool.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
they had a light a fighter under you, I'm sure.
yeah, but I got a job anyway in the TV studio, so yeah, it all worked out in the end.
Yeah. Wow. So you're not even done with the program, and you're basically getting an offer because of your instructor there, the ties, and how your
Hmm.
body mechanics are developing. That's pretty promising.
Yeah. It was, I think I got the offer. Like it's a 3 month course, like every course, and yeah, I think I already had the offers 2 months in. So I just finished out the course just because I paid for it. So why not? But yeah, had something lined up.
So did you actually end up taking your acting classes after that, or you just went full on into the job and learned everything on the spot there?
Yeah. I took obviously I was took a break from classes because I just got my first job. I moved to London as well, which is a very big city. It's intimidating. So yeah, I had to put learning on the hold. But of course, when you
Mhm.
start your job, you learn anyway. You learn so much, and it's very fast paced because it was TV. So it's like go 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 go. Um, yeah, I have taken other courses, but they were a couple of years in the future. I did I still did personal shots on the side, more like VFX shots because that's what got me into NPC. But I had like friends from work who had a bit more experience than me, taking a look at the shots and giving feedback. So yeah, that's. But yeah, then obviously like when I was here in Canada, yeah, I've done online courses, again whilst working full time. So constantly just making new shots for the reel.
Mhm.
And
Constantly upgrading yourself and continuing to improve. So yeah.
yeah. That's just I think it's never ending. But yeah, you got to keep up with the grind of the game. But yeah,
Mhm.
it's you keep learning. And even now, when I go to a new job, there's some people many 20 years experience, and you see some of their workflows or techniques. It's like I'm still learning stuff today for sure.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah,
very good.
I think that's the common misconception with so many students that like you go to school, you learn everything you need to learn in the class, and then you're done, and then you're just awesome, and you get all the jobs forever that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I remember at like you were just saying, the people you bump into in the studio. Like I remember at DD, I ran into one of the animators there, been there for like ever. He worked on Gumby, the original Gumby,
Mm.
and like he worked on Gollum at Weta, and I'm like, okay, I got questions for you. I'm sure you could teach me a bunch of things. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was
yeah.
doing some like tiger animations, and doing a biped's hard enough. When you go to a quadruped, it's like, I need some help. Please give me some feedback.
It's a whole new world. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. So you get in the industry, you're self-teaching how to keep level up, or I mean, you're taking more classes on the side outside of work, and you're into the animation family, learning from everybody now that you're in it.
Mm.
What what kind of roadblocks are you running into that make you feel like you need to take those classes, or I guess what is keeping you going in the industry from one studio to the next? What is the big driving force for you there to succeed?
Um, I think it's always good having a personal shot in your reel, like, and sometimes in the industry you don't get your shots for like another year after the film comes out. And I've even had recent interviews that they say like, "Where's your latest stuff in your reel?" Because I haven't released the movie for a while now, and they said, "Oh,
Mhm.
your reel was uploaded 2 years ago. Like, where's your latest work?" And I'm like, "Damn,
Mhm. Yeah.
I need to upgrade my reel because yeah, sometimes it just happens in the industry where you gotta wait, or even I've had films that get cancelled, so I just never get the
Mhm.
shots.
Never get to
Um,
show any of it, and it looks like you did
yeah,
nothing. And yeah.
exactly. I think when you get like 10 plus years experience, you could probably just have a full reel of just feature shots. But I think until you get to that point, you still need to be improving and still need to be adding to the reel. Because all it takes is like one cool shot that gets people's eyes, personal shot. And it's always fun, I think, as well, doing a personal shot. Like it's draining, especially after a full-time job. It can be exhausting, but you know, as long as you know it's only going to be like 2 months of your life or something, whatever. I kind of
Mhm.
go all out when I do personal shots. Um, yeah, I usually kind of sacrifice like a lot of my life, but then I get the shot done, and then I take a break and don't do any personal work for a few months. But I do, yeah, like 2 to 3 hours every night after work, and then 6 hours on Saturdays and Sundays. So yeah, I like to go. If I'm going to do a shot, I'm going to make sure I do it and do it well. And I usually do like a mini course or something, so someone's giving me feedback as I go, because I know how important feedback is for a shot. You don't want to start stumbling early on in the blocking stage. Just get it to someone, even if you have to pay him a course, whatever. Just get it in front of someone. So I think just adding to the reel is always helpful, especially if you haven't updated your reel in a long time. Most people, like I said, they get their first job in the industry and that's it. They just never do a personal shot ever again, and they're stuck with like TV stuff or whatever in their reel. It's not going to get you higher positions. So I've done a lot of personal shots. Half of them I didn't even put into my reel because I did better stuff after. So it's a balancing act. But I did. My friend got into Micros to work on the SpongeBob movie, which is super cartoony, and I had nothing like that. I'd just come from visual effects. I was at NPC, so I was like, I need to make cartoony stuff if I want to be on that. So I spent like 3 to 4 months in my spare time whilst working full time just making cartoon animation, and I got in. So it can be tiring for sure, personal work, but hey, if this is what you want to do, then you've got to put the time in and then relax after.
Yeah. I mean, if you really love it, I mean, shouldn't you want to do that stuff to get that next level? Yeah, to get that next job. So is there some kind of system you have in place for keeping yourself accountable to doing those personal shots after work? Because a lot of people, they finish work and they're like, man, I'm beat. It'd be easy to just be lazy one day and then you fall off the wagon and then you don't get it done. Or the weekend's here, I'm not going to do 6 hours today. So what is pushing you to stay true to that, I guess, when you do go into those grinds? Is it the course accountability? Is that part of it, or?
Yes, I guess I'm a bit of a robot when it comes to first work, because I kind of go all out. But setting yourself a schedule is really important. And I did pretty much do a course every time. Like whether it's online course at Anim School or anything, I did all that. So I've done like a lot of online stuff. I think when you pay money to make a personal shot, you really want to do a personal shot.
You don't want to waste time.
Yeah, exactly. Because when you do personal shots, just by yourself, you can be a bit lazy, and then it could take like 6 months to do a shot. But when you pay money, it's like, it's got to get done. So that really helped actually. And then I had like a strict discipline. I kind of rewarded myself after. So like as soon as I finish work, I'll take a 10-minute walk around the block. I go on my personal work. I do 2 hours. Sometimes I even set an alarm on my phone. So like I've set it for 2 hours. I'd work, and then after the 2 hours, I'd be like, "Can I do more? Like, am I exhausted, or can I fit in an extra hour or half an hour?" And if I can, I will do it. But then that's it. Like, by the end of the night, and if not, then I would stop there and then. And I've done my 2 hours, which is you close out all social media, everything. You just work for 2 hours. You can actually get a lot of work done, and it's fun. It's something to look forward to after work. It's like, I'm gonna do my own stuff now instead of having a company tell me what to do. It's my own freedom. And my reward was just playing video game or something after. I get to chill after, because I finish at 6. Finish personal work at around 9. So I've still got time for myself to have a big dinner and watch a movie, play a game, and fall asleep. So there's plenty of time in the day. It's just but obviously it's hard to fit it all in. And as for weekends, I'm an introvert, so it doesn't really matter. I can work all day. I don't really go out socializing or anything. So I'm more of an indoor buddy. So But I like to start early. I used to wake. My natural body clock used to wake me up at like 7 or 8 in the morning. So I'd start work at 9 a.m. on Saturdays and Sunday mornings, work until like 3, maybe 4. And then I got the whole night to go for a long walk, go to gym, whatever, play games, because I like playing video games. So I made it work.
Yeah, not too
So,
hard. Like if you have a day like that, right? That's pretty easy to just
hmm.
be like, yeah, this is not a big deal. You get plenty of rest, plenty of fun.
Yeah, it's still like it's nice to have your own time for sure. So it's like more of a reward for me. So yeah,
Mhm.
but I like to work straight after work. I know some people like to take a long break and then work at like 10 o'clock at night or something. But I don't know. I'm too old for that. Get too tired. So I like to work straight after work and then get it all done, and then I can relax after.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have struggle like with the willpower to do that after work because you're already beat from work, so you typically you just want to relax. But I mean, if you got the accountability, I think from the course investment, or you don't want to waste it, that does a
Mm,
lot, you know. And
yeah.
then, like you said, closing out social media and like setting alarms on your phone, I think that's all good for locking you in the zone for
Mm,
this time and staying super disciplined. Is there any like
yeah.
really funny stuff that you do out of curiosity, like to block social media? Do you, or is it just like
Uh,
I close my browser and that's enough for me? And
yeah, I could close my browser or just throw my phone onto the bed that's over there, and so
put
I'm
it
sat
away.
down.
Yeah,
Yeah, I used to like when I used to wake up in the morning, I put my phone on a desk far away, so I had to get out of bed. So it's that kind of thing where you just throw it
yeah,
away, get rid of it. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm
Make it
not.
difficult.
Yeah, I don't really use social media much anyway, so it's more like just stick a soundtrack on or a YouTube video on the side and listen to
Mhm.
something. Yeah, and
Mhm.
just get to work. Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah, I'm always like, I feel like for me, it's always like if I could just put distractions away from me for like 5 minutes, I'll get into the zone and then I'm good for the next, several
Hmm.
hours, whatever, no problem.
Yeah. You'll get into the zone. Like once you get into that focused mindset, you just blank everything else out. I think. Yeah.
Right on. So, getting back to like your studio experience, you're working on several different features. You have, you mentioned Micros is doing cartoony stuff, and you're doing other realistic stuff. Do you have like favorite projects that you have from these studios, and are those the ones that taught you the most, or are they completely different ones?
Yeah, I've worked on many different styles. I think my latest movie was like super realistic, but feature. I've done visual effects, so it's hyper realistic. Yeah, then you go stuff like SpongeBob, which is super cartoony. And yeah, I'm a
Mhm.
huge fan of the cartoony. It's so fun, like making
Like
things,
breaking rules, pushing
Yeah,
limits.
yeah. And it was like my first feature as well, so that was always like a really good experience. Yeah, I got some really cool shots for that one. So, and it was just super different, unique. But obviously, I was very early on in my career, so I think as you gain more experience and you get better as an animator yourself, yeah, you really start to think about like quality. I think and try and putting the nuances into your shots. So like my latest movie was like super realistic, so the notes we were getting were really picky, but pushed it to the next level.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, in terms of like favorite, yeah, like most fun for sure is like SpongeBob, which was super messy, crazy, cartoony. Um, but yeah, I think even the last project was called David. It's coming out in November, I believe. That's probably the most, I think, rewarding in terms of growth and satisfaction because yeah, I learned a lot from that. Even after 7, 8, nearly 8 years in the industry, yeah, I'm still learning a lot. So it's rewarding, I think, when you're continuing to grow.
Did you feel
Yeah,
like you were surrounded by a bunch of people on the project that had more experience than you, and that was the reason? Or
yeah. So well, as you know, there's a lot of layoffs in LA last year. So we had like pretty much just DreamWorks and Pixar animators on the show, and a couple of Disney as well because they laid off people in Burbank. So yeah, we had really experienced people on it. So yeah, I learned a lot. They're very, very talented. Yeah. So yeah.
yeah, right on, right on. So, like in terms of like where you want to take your skills going forward, because you saying you love doing cartoony stuff, and now
Mm,
you're getting the highly nuanced and polished like Pixar DreamWorks kind of a level
mm.
with the latest project. Are you looking for more of that, or are you going some other direction, or what's pulling you around now, animation wise?
Yeah, I'll see. Yeah, I'll always take a feature. Of course, I want like a good quality one, you know, so I can really keep pushing my skills. I'll never say no to a cartoony ever. So yeah, like if someone offered me a cartoony, crazy something different, yeah, I think I'll be on that quicker than like a hyper realistic, you know, flashy one. So or like you know, good looking one. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of gaming, so I may start looking at gaming as well because they have really tight timing, like almost like cartoony timing, the way they do their hits and cycles. So it's really, you know, I've been looking at that as well recently, and I think, you know, it's always good to just try everything. You know, I've done visual effects, done TV, I've done feature. So you know, gaming could be a next option. Obviously, the industry's a little bit iffy right now, but you know, I'll take. I'm just looking to improve myself, so I'm joining a good team. So yeah, I think definitely a good quality one, but I'll definitely say no. I wouldn't say no to a cartoony, never.
Yeah, fair,
I
fair.
love it. It's
And
really
then
fun.
possibly branching into gaming. That's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Just open it. I'm
definitely
just
new adventures.
broadening the options. I think, especially makes you becoming learning new programs, new skills, new techniques. So it's just a never-ending like learning, but in a good way. Like you are, you know, looking at different genres in a different angle. I guess you could say, different perspective.
Mhm.
So I think yeah, it's really good. It opens your mind a bit. I think.
Yeah, it keeps the animation fresh, right? It's like,
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. You know, I say don't focus on one thing and say I just want to go to that studio on that project. Like you know, because there's a million more around you that you know you're missing in the corner of your eye because you're too laser focused onto that one thing. There's so
mhm,
much different animation styles or genres or programs to even learn. So
mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, keep experimenting.
Mm.
So, what you know, at some point while you're getting all this feature experience and doing your own personal stuff, you're like, I'll be a mentor for animation now.
Mm.
What pulled you that direction?
Yeah, so that was basically what I said before. I had like nothing until I did an online course. So ever since I did iAnimate and got my first job, I knew I wanted to teach at some point. Obviously not straight away because I was fresh in the industry, but I learned so much through online schools that I knew I want to give back eventually. So yeah, it was always my goal to teach at some point when I was comfortable with myself and my skills and I know my confidence even talking to people and giving feedback. And then yeah, I saw the opportunity with you. So yeah, then I said like, here we go, it's my time. So yeah, I think I don't know, I just learned so much from online. I did a year and a half of iAnimate and my skill went from here to up here and I got multiple offers, so or like opportunities, should we say. And I even saw it myself that I grew. I was like, yeah, that's such a cool, I don't know, thing to do in life is teach. So I really want to give back eventually, and yeah, here I am. So it's working out very well.
Yeah, yeah. And I think it's I think for every mentor that really wants to teach and see people succeed, there's this it's almost this reminder of like what we used to go
Yeah,
through, and we reignite that feeling, like seeing someone else succeed. Yeah, it fires
yeah,
me up about the art all over again to see light bulbs come on for other students, and
yeah. It's
uh,
very rewarding. Well, yeah, because I saw it myself, and then yeah, teaching it to someone and seeing them finally click is just it's a good feeling. I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Um, Yeah, so I mean, you're mentoring these students now. Your students are making some pretty good animations. But what patterns are you seeing from a lot of students today, and what it's taking for them to get into the industry? Do you think things have changed a lot from when you went to get into the industry, and
Mm.
the types of shots you're making, the quality, and what do you think everyone's up against?
Yeah, yeah. Obviously, the industry's grown a lot since I first started. Yeah, I think it was more niche back in the day, but now it's a
Mm.
very, should we say, like normal job, or I don't know how to put it. Like, is it?
Yeah, almost. It's like very global compared to how it was, I
Yeah,
feel.
it used
Yeah.
to be just a bunch of nerds getting together making a movie, but now it seems very, just it's just a job to get into. Cool, let's make this.
Mhm.
But with that, it does come challenges where you have a lot more competition, and of course, I think the biggest thing is quality. You make a very good quality um, shot or reel. Quality over quantity, the old saying. So
Mhm.
I think for students now, yeah, they've got to like research a lot, especially what other people are doing, what other what companies are doing, what they're looking for. A good trick I used to do, well, I still do now, is I just look at people's reels. Let's say they've been at DreamWorks for 10 years. I go to their Vimeo and I scroll right down to the bottom. I don't care what they're doing now. They're doing DreamWorks stuff. They're amazing. I scroll to the bottom and I see what got them to DreamWorks. I look at their student stuff and I'll see, like, what was their quality level at the time to get that job.
Mhm.
And so nowadays, I think it holds more true because there's a lot more people trying to do this job now. So you really have to do your research and try and hit that quality bar. Just a couple of good shots is all you need. You don't need a 2-minute reel. I see a lot of people trying to make a 10-second acting shot with two characters. Like, no, keep it short, but just keep it high quality. Good acting choices, good body mechanics. So yeah, I think that's so it's a little bit tougher now because it's a big industry. But I think there's still definitely room to get in as long as you can prove yourself.
Yeah. What strategy would you adopt if you were starting from scratch today to with everything that you know now? If you were starting today from scratch to succeed, what would you do?
I'd focus on body mechanics. Yeah, I wouldn't even bother touching dialogue. I think you can even get like a feature reel just body mechanics, and I'm not even sure. Maybe like one small dialogue, but yeah, I always say, like I said, there's no acting without body mechanics. Like pantomime acting is also a very good way. So yeah, I'd study like body mechanics and reference as well. Like really focus on the reference and applying it to the work. Just big focus. Yeah, there.
And I'm
That.
guessing you would still do the same thing of like learn online, learn from professional
Oh
critiques,
yes,
and yeah.
yeah. Online courses, without a doubt, is the way forward. The brick and mortar schools, of course, having a university degree is great because you need it to travel around the world because of work permits. But yeah,
Mhm.
online teaching is the way to learn animation now, especially specialized courses because it's a very specialized job. So
Yeah.
you can't focus on making the movie yourself. Just focus on one part of it and really go all in. So yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm surprised with the popularity of animation as a job now and all that stuff. I would think that there would be less interest in college degrees and the generalist
Mm,
approach to learning animation.
mm,
Thinking there's still so many students that seem like they must get a degree and they must learn
mm.
every discipline, and it's like, well. No, that's long been not the case in the animation industry that you should
Yeah.
specialize. Yeah. So I don't know. I guess it's just what we all grow up thinking when we go to traditional school that this is what we're
Mm.
supposed to do.
Yeah, it's good to get a degree because you probably will have to travel at some point with this job. It's the unfortunate thing; they want you to be in the province or a country. But yeah, other than that, get an online school and just go all in, focus. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. I probably for the degree side, I probably would have gone to the cheapest US school I could find to get
yeah,
whatever and
yeah,
sign on the
yeah.
line.
Get
Yeah,
that piece of paper. Yeah.
yeah. But even then, I had friends who, for instance, I went to work in Singapore for my first job, and I had a friend of mine who went through high school and then took an online animation course. So he didn't have a college degree or university degree, and he got the same job, and he was just a month later. So
Ah,
it's like they
wow.
found a way to get him a work visa, even though he didn't have a degree. So it was like, You know, I guess.
Times have changed.
I guess. Yeah. Well, that's. I think there's a lot of great advice there for everybody, and I think it's really interesting to hear more about your background and everything, stuff I didn't even know. Is there any other advice or things you want to pass along to other animators out there?
Yeah, just well, just keep your head down, and yeah, like I said, if you can put the work in, the hours, I would for sure. I know it's exhausting. You know, you can sacrifice a bit of your weekends. You know, sacrifice a little bit of gaming time, because all my students play video games. So, yeah, I think creating a schedule is a very important part of becoming an amateur. Like, where do you want to, you know, if you want to make a reel in 6 months, then you've really got to put the hours in. So I think so creating a workflow or schedule is a big thing. That helped me, at least. So I'm trying to, hopefully it helps other people. Just got to sacrifice a little bit on the side, but yeah, just go for it and do an online course. Do Rusties. It's cool.
I bribed you to say that.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate it. Yeah. Cool. Well, I think I'll probably just clip it here then for us. Good talking to you. Good catching up.
Excellent.
Take it easy.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
I hope you've enjoyed hearing Mike's animation journey and you found it inspirational. If you also like character animation and you'd like to learn directly from Mike, you actually can in our brand new Character Animation Mastery program, where he's going to walk you through animating a dialogue shot from planning to polish, and you'll have the chance to learn from other professional animators as well. So if that's of interest, check it out. Otherwise, until next time, happy animating.